All right, guys, I am back this morning. I worked pretty late last night getting the other two videos done that you've been watching. And so I was going to do this one last night, but then I was like, I don't think so, because I want to be able to give this the attention it deserves. And so this is our featured shop Friday. And it is Eve Spade and a Collective Chickadee. And I will put the link down in the box to where you can find her Etsy. So this is one of the pages that you can get in her shop. It comes with 4 tabs and then 4 buffalo tags. Okay, I had already cut it, and as you can see, I kind of was messing around with that one. Okay, so then the next one that I'm going to be using out of her shop is these here, and I'm hoping it doesn't have the name of the kit on there. And gosh darn it, wouldn't you know it? It just went right out of my head on what it is. But it's basically little embellishments for your journals. And so I thought these would be really fun to use in this little thing, because I think the colors are going to match. So we're going to make a few little embellishments with these, and then I'm going to sew them. And then yeah, so let's just get started. And again, I'll have the link in the description box. I already made up this kind of little prototype just to make sure that the fabric and everything was going to match, and then I'm going to sew around it. The only thing I didn't like that I did is I punched this hole, but then I didn't do anything with it. I'm not crazy about that one. So we'll have to think about that on what we put in there, because obviously it's more of a natural thing. So I don't know about that yet. So we might put in some sari silk or something. I don't know. Or I might put like a brad maybe to cut. I don't know. Since I'm layering it up like that, I'm not really for sure. So let me show you how I went about doing this. And it's a little bit of a long process, and there's a rhyme and a reason behind why I'm doing it the way I am. Let's see, and I think we're gonna have to go this way. That one seems like a more straighter cut. Okay, so this particular stuff frays a lot, as you can see. Maybe you can't see. Let me double check that I'm in frame, because like most of you know, yep, I went on vacation and I took my arm with me, and so now it's kind of off kilter. So it'll take me it usually takes me a good week to be confident that we're filming in the right areas. Like when I clean, you know, I take everything off, I move the arm and the whole bit. So it does take me a little bit to, where did my other, there it is. Okay, so there's that. But again, we need to figure out something for that little hole. And I was thinking maybe, so that's too glit, I think. I don't know. I don't know that I have anything more natural per se. Let's try a little bit of sari silk, and I think I have little tiny pieces we can try. So I think it's just going to come down to trying a couple of different options. So hope everybody's doing well. It seems like forever since I did a featured shop Friday. I think it just might be one of those things that Boy, so what I was worried about is when, but I think if I leave it loose enough and then we'll tighten it later. Because with like I was saying with this fabric, it likes to fray. And not just a little, like a lot. So we have to kind of be careful with it. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue to get it, to tack it down. Just a wee bit. Okay, then what I've been doing is kind of eyeballing the width, or, you know, the boy, I think I probably should have waited till I woke up a little bit more, but that's what happens when you get all excited, right? So I'm just taking an X-Acto knife and cutting down here. Okay, and that might be a little bit wide, but that's okay. We'll figure that out in a minute. Helps if you're down on the fabric and not on the ruler, right? See what I mean? It really likes to fray. So we're going to use that to our advantage. Yeah, we're just going to have to use that to our advantage. Okay, so then I did this. I'm going to take just a little bit off this up here. Okay. I think I am going to take a little bit of off this other side, just a hair. That looks weird. Oh boy, who knows? This may not even see the light of day, right? We might have to make a whole nother video. I wonder why it bubbled like that, or like warped like that. That's better. Better. Okay. So now that we have that, and I don't know if I said, but this fabric is like a suede, like a faux suede. And I'm sure you're not going to pick up the texture on camera. But, okay, so then, let's see, backing paper. Don't know that I have any of the ones that I wanted to use. I don't think this is quite wide enough. Not quite wide enough. Close, but no cigar. Not quite tall enough. Seems I probably should have had my act together a little more and gotten some more pieces over here, huh? Because now I think I'm going to have to pause. Oh, wait, here we go. Never mind. Forget what I was just saying. I found a big enough piece. And then just going to give a little bit of a tack down here. I think that once I sew that, I think that'll all look good, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick little swipe down here. It's not going to be even or anything. It's just going to get rid of the bulk of this other one. Okay, pull over by the little cutter. Okay, let's see what we got now. Okay, and I think sewing that, like I just said, sewing that'll cinch that up there. But do we like it? I don't know. I have to see. It looks like once we're finally done inking. Like I said, we're not gonna pretend that it's not gonna fray. So I'm just gonna take my ink dauber up there and fray just a little bit of the thing like I did in the last one. Okay, so there is that one. Let's try, because I think this one's pretty glued down. Yeah, that one's not going anywhere. So I'm thinking I might take a brad and just cover that hole a little bit with that one, because I do like that, how it looks. Okay, so let's do one more of these, because I would like one of the brightly colored ones to have that up there. So we'll do that, and then we'll break into, or maybe I'll pause. I don't know. I was going to say maybe we'll pause the video and I'll go ahead and do the other, like cutting down of those other pieces. But it might work just as good just to do the embellishing right here so that I can just decide what I'm going to use. Oh, sorry, silk first, right? Yes, yes, that's what we want. These are really pretty tags. I really do like those. I just realized that my charger cord might be hanging out in the camera. Boy, I tell ya, early morning Early morning stuff seems to be kicking my keister this summer. Okay. I think it's time to change out my razor blade. Could be part of the problem. Oh, bother. She's got some other like full-size kits with the buffaloes in them, and they're gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm all kinds of wonky on this one. Okay, so we're gonna have to... Normally I don't really have that problem, but yeah, I'm all kinds of all over the board today. Just wondering if maybe I should trim down here a little bit too. I think I will, just a tiny bit. I think it's off just enough that it's gonna bother me. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah, all this suede stuff gets weird. Like it just doesn't, it like goes everywhere, like the tail ends of everything. I like using them though. Okay, again, I'm just going to take that down and off of our sheet so I can trim it down on the trimmer. Okay. I didn't even look at to see what time it was when I started the video. So after I get this one done, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, go sew this, check the length of the video, and then we'll come back and do some decorating on film. Just a tiny bit. Just a skosh. Yep. Just a skosh here. Okay. That's like really wonky. I'll have to trim that down again. We'll have to bring out the cutter. It's really crooked. Ugh. Don't worry about the scraps, right? I'll clean that up in a minute. Okay, that's better. Okay. Okay, those are beautiful, I think. Okay, so I will be right back. I'm going to sew those, and then we will work on using a few of those little, I want to say they're like field notes, but I don't think that that's the word, that's the title of the group, or the kit. So I will be right back. Talk to you soon. Okay, guys, I am back again, and this is what those 2 tags look like sewed. And I may go ahead and sew the third one. I didn't, just for time purposes this morning, but we'll see what we need in this little guy here. And I think I like this one and one other one for the cover. So we're just gonna see what we can come up with here. And I might have to kind of hand tear some of this because I didn't quite get to the right edge, but that's okay. There's this one, and I think I might have to tear it down just a little bit further. And then there's Born to Roam. I thought that would look cute next to the wolf, and it's a little bit lighter, so I think I'll hand tear this part because it's a little more designer tear, I guess. I don't know what you would call that. Again, I think it might be a little too big. Yeah, but it is, so I'll have to tear it down further. But I'm going mostly for colors. So let's tear this one down and just see what we get. I'm wishing I'd put him up just a little bit higher, but I think I like that. Yeah, okay. And I did print these on cardstock, so they need just a little bit heavier glue, in my opinion. Okay. All right, so I don't know. I think I like this one. here. And I don't know, I think I'm just gonna like cut loosely around the ones I want, because if not, we're gonna be here forever watching me. I mean, I'm still gonna have to hand tie and whatnot, or hand tear a little bit, I think. Maybe we can get this little guy in there. On that small edge there. Nope, gonna have to hand tear. Sorry, guys. And if it gets to be too much, then I'll just hand tear the ones I want, and then we'll come back and decorate. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Eve Spade's channel, but the Collective Chickadee, but she's hilarious. One of the last videos that she did a little while ago was how she gets ready to go to town with this whole coronavirus thing. It's hysterical. She like spends literally probably 20-25 minutes of the video putting on her makeup and, you know, organizing her hair and everything. And then she stands up and she puts on this like white suit. Oh my God, it's hysterical. Because kind of how I think about this whole mess too is you have to have a sense of humor, right? If not, it's literally going to drive everybody nuts. And I think it is actually driving a lot of people nuts right now. So yeah, she's hysterical. And then a couple months ago, her daughter was getting a new puppy. And she was all serious and telling us all about how, you know, they weren't quite ready to be grandparents. And she's hysterical. I'm like, I could totally see us like, being like neighbors. I mean, the neighborhood would never be okay again, really. But I think living next to her would be really fun. That's not really what those scissors are for, but you know, when in Rome, right? I think I might have to just let that sit for a few minutes. And we'll come back to it and I'll take the little fray off. And I was thinking maybe a couple little like matching words, if I could find some. I don't know that there is. So, what if we found one of these smaller quotes and used one of these bigger pieces and like kind of cut it down? That makes any sense? Probably not. Oops. All right, going a little rogue here. Yeah, I definitely think Eve missed her calling in the whole comedy act. Like, she's, like I said, she's pretty hysterical. So yeah, Grace is at work today. So yeah, this is only like the second of, or maybe third time since this whole coronavirus thing started that I've actually had like at home time by myself. Like Bo's not here, Grace isn't here, Paul's back at work. Yeah, it's a little disconcerting, I will say. I mean, not that I'm not enjoying it, but it's a little disconcerting when you're used to having a ton of people like up in your business all the time, you know? I mean, no, everybody's good, and I don't mean that negatively, but all you moms out there will totally get what I'm saying. You love your kids, but boy, you know, having those few minutes to just take a deep breath, right? Because that's what it kind of like once they get into school, that's kind of like, well, I should say, maybe not all moms, because, you know, there's, you know, I have been fortunate. I should guess we have enough new subscribers. I should kind of tell you about my life a little bit. So, we decided when the kids were really little, because as a couple weeks ago, like I told you, Bo was born premature. And so there was actually a case in our town that we were living in at the time that a daycare provider shook and killed an infant in her care. And literally, like, Bo was like 8 hours old when the story broke. And him being little, it terrified us to be able to put him in, or like having to put him in daycare in 6 weeks, like, because he was already like vulnerable, right? So the job I had before was with this pharmaceutical company, and I was good. Like, I was making a lot of money. So to replace that income, it was going to be really hard. So yeah, I like that. Okay, let's work on this little one. So we had to make sacrifices, and we had to change a bunch for me to be able to stay home. And it was a lot of hard years with that decision, but not once have we ever regretted it. Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate enough that I could work side jobs, right? Like, I went to work for my dad's trucking company, couple hours a month. At that point, he didn't have any extra trucks when I first started with him. It was just him. And so it was just like one part of the bill, and then, you know, making out the billing every month and then paying his business bills. So, I mean, it was pretty easy. I could take Bo with me. And then I worked like side jobs, like doing yard work and stuff for people, and, you know, things that I could take him with me. And then when things got really tough, then I would work, like I worked at a couple of hair salons at night after Paul got home. I went back to a company I had been with before the pharmaceutical company, and worked nights there. So, I mean, there was many, many, many years that I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, obviously. And then Gracie came along. So by that point, we were, oh, you know the drill. You're drowning, but for whatever reason, you still keep afloat, right? So yeah, and then a series of unfortunate events happened, and Paul got injured at work, and then was out of work, and then, yeah, it was terrible times there for a while. Like 2003, the only good thing that came out of 2003 was Grace. We lost our house. We lost everything, basically, because it gets to that point where, you know, the market at that point wasn't that great. With him being injured and no income, yeah, that was nuts. I mean, unfortunately, that was a tough pill to swallow, but we're better now. I mean, I know I've said before, but we don't buy anything unless it's basically on cash. We don't do hardly anything on credit. You know, we spent a long time building and saving and recovering. We didn't go out and just get into a bunch more debt, like some do. So that was making that decision Because, you know, they say, like, if you claim bankruptcy that you should go right back out and get, like, credit cards and stuff, but we didn't. We did not do that. We took the long way back, and I think it taught us a lot, and it taught us, it definitely taught us humility, right? So yeah, yeah, that we struggled, and I think we're better for that struggle. And really, this adventure is calling out to me. So I'm going to take that, use that one. So yeah, fast forward, I mean, we just really worked hard and kept on keeping on, and thank God we had family that backed us. We were able to move in with Paul's parents for a little while, and then Paul went back to school. And then, yeah, we've slowly just like kind of built our way back, and yeah, so that's kind of our backstory. So when I say I do not judge and I have been there, I really truly mean I do not judge and I have been there. I mean, we all have our story, don't we? So yeah, but what I was saying is I've been fortunate enough that we've been able to sacrifice enough that we always were fed, you know? Most of the time we were on assistance for a little bit, like right after all that happened, when he was injured at work and stuff. We were on assistance for probably about 6 months, but I can't do it. Can't do it. It's not in me. So that's when I was working basically 3 jobs while he was trying to manage a toddler and well, a baby and a toddler. So I think I like that. Green, excuse me, the green is too much, I think. I don't like that. I don't think I have any of the maroon handy, which I should have the maroon handy because we just used it the other day, right? I don't see that little pile. Interesting, right? Well, talk amongst yourselves for a second because I think I can locate the other one pretty easily. And so I did. Not really the one that I was thinking, but this one will work. Because I know I already have one started, but again, I need to clean my room. So yeah, I mean, we all have a story, right? Makes us who we are. It does, I will say too, though, it does irritate me when people judge other people. You know, it's like you don't know what's going on in their life. So, yeah. Is what it is, I guess, right? And I think I might, because, you know, I'm finding it kind of difficult these days not using a ton of bling or anything. So maybe we'll use a little bit of the little drops that I made or that I have, but we'll do that very last thing. The little pearl, like, I forget what they're called. Of course, I didn't put enough glue on to make it stick on the other side, right? Because that would have been too easy. But yeah, and I think having gone through that, at least in my opinion with Paul and I, we learned a bunch. You know, we learned how to adult really quick, right? I mean, because obviously, Paul and I have always been like, we've had life insurance since we were 21. We built our first house when we were 21 and he was 23. You know, So, I mean, that said, I mean, like we were always paying our own bills. We didn't, we didn't borrow money, and we didn't do that kind of thing, right? We both had pretty good jobs. At that point, I think at that particular moment, he was installing cable, when we built the house. And then, like I said, I was working, I worked, they're called plastic hose fittings, but I worked for a company that, made and manufactured, like medical, um, hose fittings, like for oxygen masks. And then they also did like really large automotive parts. Um, and I really liked that job. At that point, it was an all-woman owned company. I don't know. I know one sister bought the other sister out through the years, and then they moved to Denver. And then they were supposed to be moving back up north here. And I don't know if that one ever got, like that move ever came to fruition or what. I like, oh, these are the pockets. And I don't think that I have any more that I would like to put on there, because I think most of them are all too big for those little tiny pockets. Okay, so I think we'll use some of Poppiness's kit and just do a couple of little guys here. And then I saved this little guy for this little one. So yeah, I don't even know what happened now. That was supposed to happen like 2 years ago. So I don't know if they actually moved all their stuff back up. Because they're originally from our area. And then their parents owned one of the other big medical suppliers. So yeah, like I said, I don't know. I think that company got bought out when they retired. So I don't even know where that plastic, because they're not in Fort Collins anymore. So I don't know whatever happened to them. I don't know if one of the girls bought that out, or if another big company bought them out. But yeah, it was interesting because, at that point, like there was all kinds of, I did mostly, I started out in their shipping department, and then I was only there like 6 months, and they promoted me to the office, which was kind of unheard of at that point. Like, and then they hired another shipping guy, and then I was in charge of all the invoicing and collections and stuff like that, like people who hadn't paid their bill yet. I was the one responsible for getting that. So that's kind of where I got my start in the whole collection industry. I'm good at it. I mean, I'm not trying to, that might have sounded really conceited, but it's not meant to. I'm just really good at collecting money. Can't imagine why. I'm kind of bold like that, right? I mean, I'm not mean, but I definitely don't put up with nonsense. So yeah, after I was having problems with one of the girls at the office, because I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there, like I have like a really strong work ethic. Like I just do. My dad definitely did a good job of instilling that in me. So that said, she was milking the clock. She was, it drove me nuts. And I would tell the owners, because back then, you at 20, see, what was that, 21, 22, 23, because I worked there several years, right? No. Was I there at like 18 and 19? Oh boy, I would have to... No, because I was 24 when Bo was born. Okay, that's what was confusing me. I was thinking that I was 21 when Bo was born, but that's not true. That's when I got married. So yeah, anyways, because I was working there when we got married, like, or shortly right after there. I think I started working there like 2 months after we got married, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go look at my timeline. You know what I mean? Or sit down and really think about it. But anyways, she would milk the clock, and oh my gosh, that drove me nuts. And I would tell the owners, like, what she's telling you is not true. And like, she had done the position that I was currently doing. And it was like she was sabotaging me. And like, I was supposed to be like the manager of the shipping department, right? Because that's what I did. I made all the invoices for the shipping, right? Well, then she wouldn't let me actually take the title. And I kept telling them that she's not letting me take the title. Like, you know, and so they wouldn't listen, and they wouldn't listen, and they wouldn't listen. And I finally had had enough. I was just like, you know what? And at that point, I was pregnant with Bo. And I was like, I don't need this. I don't need you. I don't need the stress. You know, I'm trying to bring, you know, there are more important things. I am trying to bring a human into the world, and I'm just not, I'm not going to do this. And so I quit, much to the owner's dismay. And then I started the pharmaceutical company and worked there most of the pregnancy until I went on bed rest. And, yeah. So needless to say, I mean, the first company usually about every 2 years calls me and asks me if I want a job. Which, and I did go back to them after Gracie was born. I did work in their shipping department for a while. But it was the same thing, just a different employees, you know? It was like, you know how sometimes companies have just like this one mindset? And I still like the ladies. I mean, I still talk to them, but I didn't like the whole mindset of the company. Like, they didn't take into consideration anything other than like their upper management. They just like, it seemed like they just believed the crap that they were being dished, even when you had proof. I don't know. I just didn't. And here's the funny part. So the buyout happened right after I quit, right? And then the one girl, she got fired by the one sister who bought it out, like weeks later, because they knew, right? Which irritated me, because I would probably still be working there, to be honest, because I did enjoy the work. I think I'm going to take this little one, and I think maybe I'll go up a little bit. Yep, I think I'll go up, and I think I'll make it like a little pocket, because remember, we still have all kinds of like little cards and whatnot. And I don't, these might be a little bit too big, but it'll at least give you a concept of what I'm thinking. Yeah, I like that. So maybe we'll find a couple more like that and just put it in here. So yeah, it was very interesting work. I would never go back to the pharmaceutical company. I mean, true. Again, I worked in collections and that too. And unfortunately, it was for like nursing homes, and which breaks your heart. But, you know, and here's the part that breaks your heart is, you know, darn well that the government is paying. And I don't, okay, so don't anybody get offended when I'm saying this, because I know full well that Social Security and Medicare are like retirement plans. Like, I get that. But you, like, in the billing portion, like, we would bill out to Social Security and Medicare and everything like that, or they would. Okay, so the nursing home would, but then they wouldn't pay their bill. So basically, they got paid and they weren't paying their bills. And so it just got, like, then I would have to get mean, basically, and threaten to shut off medications, which, you know, breaks your heart, because you would never want anybody to be harmed, right? But it's some of these nursing home owners that, like, they didn't care about their patients, right? It's not the nurses, it's not the pharmaceutical company, at least the one I worked for. It wasn't on them, it was this nursing home. Like, all over the United States, this happens all the time. And quite frankly, I think nursing homes, at least the majority of them, their owners are crooked. I don't think the staff and that sort of thing are necessarily, but yeah, those owners can be really, really, really crooked. Okay, I'm going to take that down just a little bit more. So yeah, I collected almost $3 million in the months that I was there of past due. because, you know, they obviously, they are governed by this, you know, they are governed and they can't not give the patients their meds. And I only had to shut off once, and it was shut off for 10 minutes. Because I think ultimately the company I worked for cared more about the patients than they did about their bottom dollar. And so, I mean, obviously I had permission to shut them off. But when it comes down to it, that company, for all the weirdness in the medical industry, for all the weirdness in the, you know, that sort of thing, the suppliers, I think, have a heart, or at least they did. And so, yeah, it sure does freak out the owners. So anyways, I don't even know if that company is still, I did not, I mean, okay, so I did enjoy the work for a large part, but I would never go back because of the people. Like at some point, I mean, even when I was doing that job, you still have to be kind, right? Like you can't be a jerk. I mean, there were times I had to be a jerk, right? Not to like the nurses and stuff that I would talk to, or like the people that weren't the owners making these decisions. You know, I wasn't a jerk to them, but sometimes when the owners would call, it's like, well, pay your bills then, you know? I mean, you kind of have to be firm with the owners, because if not, they'll like walk right over the top of you, which leaves their people vulnerable. Oh boy, what a weird topic to get onto. Sorry, guys. I bet you wonder about me sometimes. So yeah, and I'm not complaining, because I mean, every experience leads you to where you are now, right? And I love my life now. I would go back to the plastic hose fitting company that I worked for. Out of all the jobs I've ever had, that one stimulated my brain the absolute most. That said, I still probably wouldn't go back there. Like I said, I like what I do now. I mean, I do like doing taxes too. I know I'm weird. I'm weird being creative and being all that. Okay. So let's just kind of tuck these little tags in some of our pockets. I was thinking that we could put them in these, but they're not quite tall enough and they're going to disappear in there. So what if we just slide them in here? Oh, yep. Like them. Okay, and then we'll put it in this back one here. I'm hoping his little head peeks out. Yep, with all those colors. Check that out. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, guys, I am going to go ahead and call this a video. Sorry if I was a little tangent a little there. I usually like to keep it light and fun, but yeah, I guess when we go back to our past selves, we get a little passionate, right? All right, guys, welcome to the new subscribers. We've got a few. And thank you for watching, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye, guys.